Hi everyone, I'm Karnak. Welcome to Star Wars Armada Explained. We're going to look at the objective today, Salvage Run. Salvage Run is probably my most favorite objective, but I honestly don't get to play it that much, nor do I bring it enough in my lists. But it's a great objective. I like it a lot, and you probably will see why once I get done explaining it. So let's talk about the setup. So Salvage Run, the second player places the station in the center of the play area. Then, starting with the second player, the players alternate placing the remaining obstacles, adding the two dust field obstacles at distance 1 to 5 of the station. After placing obstacles, the second player places a total of 4 objective tokens in the setup area. Each token must be at distance 1 of the station and beyond distance 1 of all other objective tokens. After deploying fleets, each of the second player ships gains a navigation token. Special rule: when a player's ship reveals a command dial, that player may choose one objective token at distance 1 of that ship and remove it from the play area to gain one victory token. And if you look at the bottom right hand corner of the card there, you will see that victory tokens are worth 20 points. So you have an opportunity to gain 80 points from this objective as first or second player, but seen here, it is slightly more beneficial for the second player. Now, we're going to zoom in here and, to take one quick step back, there is no clarifications or errata for this card. It's very, it flows very well in the wording. There's no crazy things going on. So for Vassal, we're lucky enough that you see this little cross here. That's the center of the board. So all we have to do is just take the station and then plop, and then we're done. So some people will fit around with it and rotate it and do all that. I just take it and I just plop it and then we go. I'm not going to spend forever doing that. Now, one unique thing about Salvage Run is, as it mentions, it adds the two dust field obstacles. Now, remember, debris fields here, if you land on them, you take 2 damage that you suffer to one hull zone of your choice. You have asteroids, which you take 1 face-up damage card. And the dust field obstacles, what do they do? Well, if you trace line of sight through them and you are conducting a ship to ship or ship to squadron attack, that ship cannot attack that other ship or squadron if line of sight touches this obstacle in any way, shape, or form. So to reiterate, dust fields block any attack conducted by a ship to any target. The reverse for squadrons is not true. That is just an obstruction like anything else. Squadrons are only obstructed if they make an attack through the dust field obstacle. But again, a ship attacking another ship or a ship attacking a squadron is completely negated from doing an attack if LOS is traced over this obstacle. So a lot of players will take objectives with these dust clouds if they're trying to protect like a really fragile ship, like a carrier, maybe a victory, something that you don't want to explode immediately. A lot of players will place them like in front of where they're planning to deploy, so they can't get shot from long range. But enough of that. So let's go through. So as you can see here, we've got the distance band up. So distance 1 is the black circle, distance 2 is red, distance 3 is orange, distance 4 is this peach color, and distance 5 is yellow. Now remember, you can place obstacles anywhere at distance 1 to 5 of the station, not outside of that. So I'm just going to throw obstacles in here, and again, you can't place them within distance 1 of each other. And we're just going to throw them in here like so. I'll move this card out of the way. Alright, we've got our obstacles placed. And none of them are at distance 1 of anything else. Perfect. Now, and again, remember, the second player starts with placing the rest of the obstacles. You go back and forth on that. But the second player is the only one who places the objective tokens. Now, objective tokens, as it says on here, they must be placed at distance 1 of the station and beyond distance 1 of all other objective tokens. Now, remember, at and within are two different things. Within is an objective token can only be placed completely within a range band. At is it only just needs to be barely touching that range band. That's the difference between within and at. Now, as we see here, you can do something like this. This token is now at distance 1 of the station. So that's the first token. The second token needs to be beyond distance 1 of that token. So you need to make sure that it's not touching that token at all. And something like that, for example. See here, it's not touching. So we've got those two down. And then we're going to place this one down. Again, still has to be at distance 1 of the station. That looks good. We'll do that. And then you place down the final token, which can be something like, there we go. Something like that. So those are all beyond distance 1 of each other, and they're all at distance 1 of the station. Now the second player, so we're going to say the Imperial is the second player, and the Rebel is the first player. So the Rebel player now places all his ships, the Imperial places all of his ships. Then the Imperial player gets to start with a navigation token on all of his ships. Now remember, the timing of this is after deploying fleets. So if you were, for example, a Rebel player playing Admiral Radis, if you had any ships in hyperspace or any ships profunditied in an MC-75, i.e. meaning they're not physically deployed on the board, they do not gain that navigation token. That's the only timing that token is after deploying fleets. So if your ships aren't on the board for that timing, tough luck, you don't get it. Now, for the special rule is that anytime you have a ship, it doesn't matter which one, they all are able to do it. Your ships or your opponent's ships, any ship, when it reveals a command dial, you may then choose one objective token at distance 1 of a ship, and then you can claim that token to get a victory token. Now, a lot of players will choose to run something with strategic along with this objective to try to bring these tokens closer to your side, but there's also a case to be made of not running strategic with this objective. Because if you just manage to run, one large ship like this is especially good with like MC-80 ships that are super tanky. They can take a lot of shots. Some players like to just put it out there in the middle, as a kind of a come get me, I'm going to get these tokens. What are you going to do about it? Kind of a deal. At the same time, it's not as restrictive as contested outposts where they no longer have the station to heal. So you'll have a station out there that MC-80 is just sitting on there collecting these tokens. What are you going to do about it? Now, if your an opponent has the ability to kind of yoink these tokens away from you, obviously he's got an ability to then kind of counter your strategy. But I've seen squadronless fleets and also fleets with the ability to manipulate these tokens do well with this objective. It all depends on what has your opponent brought to deal with what you're doing. But like with anything, you need to have a plan when you use this objective. You need to have a plan about what you plan to do if an opponent brings something that can mess with your objective and can't mess with your objective. So those are all things that you need to consider, because you could place all these tokens out, but if your opponent has an interdictor, maybe he is going to shuffle that station away and then shuffle rocks and things onto these tokens or near it, so that if you try to land on it, you're going to take damages. So you need to have plans. You need to have the ability to know what you're going to do if an opponent brings something that could potentially mess with you. And also, if you have to play against this objective, don't just pick it thinking, oh, I can easily just go nab those tokens or prevent my opponent from getting those tokens. You need to have a plan. Okay, because there's a lot of obstacles in there, and they are absolutely going to mess you up or get in the way or not allow you to do what you think you're going to do. And again, your opponent, since he starts with navigation tokens, a lot of opponents what they love to do is they love to start at speed 1, make you think, oh, he can't get to me, because normally most people don't start with navigation tokens, right? And then they'll do a nav dial, They'll spend the nav token and then boom, they're rushing speed 3 right into your face. Maybe they decide that they want to go speed 0. Maybe they have things that can drag these tokens to them. You know, a lot of different variety of play with Salvage Run. You can see why I love it so much. It really opens up Armada to so many different play styles in your fleet list archetypes. But that's Salvage Run. I kind of went off a little bit of a tangent there. I normally don't do that, but this is like one of my favorite objective cards. I just kind of had to geek out over it. So, of course, if you feel like anything's in error, or if I got anything wrong, please be sure to let me know. Make a comment about it. I did want to mention one more thing. With these objective tokens, if it ever did somehow manage to happen, can you chuck these objective tokens off the table so that no one can claim them? The answer to that question is no. You cannot. Where do we get that precedence? If you've seen my Capture the VIP video, you'll notice, and it's strange that it's not in the official FAQ, but it is an official email response from the developers that says if the objective token on a ship flies off the table in VIP, you then place that token back on the table. And again, the only things that can physically fly off tables are ships and squadrons. Objective tokens, you can't chuck off tables, and the precedent for that is the ruling that was made in Capture the VIP, essentially is it. So, of course, any TO can contest that. Any TO can say, well, I think you can chuck objective tokens off the table all day long, but that is not the ruling of, according to how FFG views it, and that's not how the some other tournament organizers from Worlds and other regionals also view that. You can't throw these objective tokens off the table so that they can't be claimed. Anyway, again, gone on long enough. Again, ask your TO if that comes up. You know, whatever he rules, go by what he rules. But I appreciate you guys watching. Again, if you feel like anything's in error, if anything's wrong, please be sure to point it out. Let me know about it. I appreciate you guys watching, and I'll catch you all next time.